Unless she's part of it, you can't be part of the counterforce.
No, there's no way.
Touko sighed at the ceiling and stirred in her seat.
Could mean that her plans involve reaching the root, which would trigger the counterforce.
Well, of course they do. She's a mage.
Well, she ran away from that, though, so I don't know what her actual goal is.
She seemed to have overcome an unexpected moment of uncertainty.
君は青子の切り札には見えない。排除しておくまでもない善良かつ無能な部外者だ。だから放っておきたいのだけど、私の六感がこう告げているんだ。君を逃がすな。いいからさっさと済ませてしまえ。
I have a bad feeling that if you live, it's going to be a problem for me.
Yeah.
More plainly put, she'd made her mind up to kill him.
Yeah.
Though Soujuuro was somewhat flattered at how she was grossly inflating his importance in all of this, what dawned on him was the fact that, through karmic irony, Touko had inevitably arrived at the same conclusion as her sister.
Yeah. Boy.
However, this was no time for idle thoughts. Soujuuro readied himself to stand up from the sofa in such a way as to not draw attention to the plan so clearly written all over his face. Make a run for it.
Well...
バカ者。こういう時は半端に動くな。逃げるならさっさと逃げる。交渉するならテコでも動く。
But you just said you were going to kill me. Why would I stay put if you're going to kill me?
そんな風に動かれると、その気がなくともつい反応してしまうだろう。
Well, if you sit still, I'll make it hurt less.
おとなしく固まっていなさい。
殺さないんですか？
今のところはね。私は君が気に入ったし。
Okay.
いや、違う
な。Wow, yeah.
正しくはこ
う。
What?
私ぐらいしか君を救ってあげられないのか。
Save him from what precisely?
Yeah.
はい。
She looked the perplexed. I can't talk
She looked
today.
the perplexed Soujuuro straight in the eyes.
Yeah, I could not. I could not say the word perplexed for some reason.
Yeah.
Though
actually brown, her eyes gleamed a piercing red.
Like the edge of like the edge of blade.
Oh. So close, guys.
That's why I couldn't read that first word right. I was trying to read the second sentence, the second line, and realized it didn't make any fucking sense.
It's fine.
Oh, yeah, there's the Mystic Eyes.
Okay.
It was at this moment an overwhelming sense of dizziness overcame Soujuuro. Man, for as much as Nasu loves Mystic Eyes, there were like none of them in Stay Night.
Ilya had them.
Did she?
Yeah. She, I think that's how she did some stuff to Shiro in one of the bad endings.
I thought that was just Magecraft that she did.
No, she used her Mystic Eyes at least once.
Because, like, the only ones I could think of were Medusa.
Yeah, I mean, Medusa and Ilya both have Mystic Eyes. They got their fix in.
It seems like everyone has Mystic Eyes in, like, every other story. It's like, oh, you have Mystic Eyes, and you have Mystic Eyes, and everybody has Mystic Eyes.
The Lord El Malloy spin-off was like, had a whole mystery about Mystic Eyes.
His mind went numb, like he couldn't tell who he was. As if he was drifting into a sinister sleep from which he'd never wake. Soujuuro clenched his jaw, desperate to maintain consciousness. Touko's eyes devoured him like a bottomless pit of quicksand. And in that moment, it all became clear to him. It no longer mattered that she was Aoko's sister, or that she was Alice's sworn enemy. When was that established?
Their enemy. She mentioned that she's the enemy that Alice and Aoko have been fighting.
Touko Aozaki's deadly battle with the girls had become his battle.
Because she's attacking him directly.
Which is why, when you find yourself feeling a special spark for a stranger met mere moments ago, that feeling is not to be trusted. For you may simply be attempting to fill an emptiness with the same mold as yours with more emptiness. Soujuuro tried to drag his body away from this heretofore unencountered sense of danger, but found that it wouldn't respond. Touko tilted her head forward at him, eyes fixated on his.
君の思う通り、私は君と似たところがある。それとも君が私に近いのかな。何？食べ物の好き嫌い程度の類似だが、軽視することでもない。
So I guess you're similar in some way in that affected him?
Yes, we both have affection for Aoko.
Maybe.
問題は、君が私より偏っている
Oh.
ということでね。
Biased.
What an odd choice of words.
She clearly used a different definition of the word than the one Soujuuro knew. Biased. It meant that he was alone, that he was an outsider who didn't belong in this town.
I would appreciate some spaces after periods, guys.
That would be great. A sudden and seething anger eclipsed his gentle heart.
俺一人じゃないですけど。
Biased?
Soujuuro shot back with all the enmity he could muster as he faced this witch named Touko Aozaki. If he hadn't, he feared he would never escape her gaze.
だろうな。だからこそ君は偏っているんだ。早くそれに気づきなさい。一番手っ取り早い解決は、それでいいんだと認めることだ。
So he's showing favoritism to Aoko and Alice just because he knows them better, I guess?
人間なんてたくましいもんでね。別に何もかも放り投げてもうまくいくものなのさ。けれど、青子にはそれは許せない。あれは他人であれ、あらゆることを許さない人間だからな。
Touko leaned over the table. She reached out, grabbed Soujuro's collar, and roughly pulled him toward her.
Oh.
いや、そんなことはいいんだ。ただ純粋に、私は君が欲しいと思った。君が自分の名前すら定かではないと名乗った時にね。
I'm what they call a cougar.
No, she's more everything that's Aoko's is
It's
mine.
yeah. It's like she's like Proto Gilgamesh, except only for Aoko's things and not everyone's things.
Yeah.
Gil, everything. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is also mine.
Right. Yeah.
自分の認識が不明で、自分自身が不能と感じる。未来というものがとても自分に関わりのあることとは思えない。となれば必然、心情は過去への逆行を試みる。しかし、所詮ソアの前のモアのように、正常な流れの前には時間旅行が押し戻されてしまう。
Law the greater self. Huh. Okay.
What? Why are we talking about time travel? What the fuck?
Something about how he always looks to the past and not the future.
それも私にあって。
Like you can't go back to the past as much as he keeps thinking about it.
Tell that to Samurai Jack.
Well, yeah.
なんて無様な私。なんて。
Yeah, he's got no clue here.
Touko trailed off mid-sentence. As she pulled Soujuuro closer, her own eyes reflected in his, she noticed the merciful expression on her face. Soujuuro got to thinking. He had no hostility toward this woman. He bore her no grudge, harbored no desire to kill her. He was aware only of his anger and aimless compassion. He wished that he could give her the answer she wanted, but...
あなたの言っていることはよくわからない。
Soujuuro replied, apologetically. A verbal reply to the visible question he perceived in her eyes. Touko showed no sign of disappointment. Instead, the corners of her lips turned upward in delight.
そうか。君には言葉の暗示は通じないんだな。
Right.
意味深なセリフ回しで丸飲みにしてやろうとも思ったが、いや失敗。小綺麗な建前は逆効果だった。君には
That would help,
むき出し
yes. What's this about
の
time
原始的
travel
な語り
now?
の方が良かったんだな。いいよ。ますます気に入った。
Okay. Oh.
Her fingers dug into his throat as if she were tearing at the leather. Perhaps he could be hers if only she could rip it off.
少年青子なぞより私のもとに来い 使い道はないが保護ぐらいはしてやろう手が空いた時なら気晴らしに愛してやってもいい
Join me, and we can rule this town as, well,
owner and
Chihuahua.
boy toy? I don't know.
Pet Chihuahua?
Yeah.
Possibly. At any rate, I won't kill you or wipe your brain.
I mean, that's not the most enticing offer, but I guess it's better than nothing.
It had taken many approaches, but she seemed to have decided on this one. The lengths to which she went to seduce him were not lost on Soujuuro, and truth be told, they weren't wholly unwelcome.
The power of boners, I guess.
The power of sexy older women, apparently. But back to the matter at hand. Never mind Soujuuro's boner.
それはお断りします
Soujuuro chose the direct response, as he did. As you do.
だってあなたのためにならない
What?
Ooh.
He had confidence in that, at least. Touko's overestimation of him aside, Soujuuro knew for a fact that he had to escape this woman's clutches.
A tete-a-tete.
Yeah. This could only be concluded by one of its two participants, Touko, or the individual she was currently infatuated with. On a hunch, the boy mustered all the conviction he could feign. She gently removed her hand from his collar and jabbed him in the chest, causing him to topple back onto the sofa. As he looked up, he saw his heart in her hand.
そうかなら仕方がない君も青子の大切な持ち物として考えることにしよう
Well.
But that makes you my property, so...
Well.
The scarred red mage quietly stood up.
青子が帰ってくる頃だから私は行くよ
Oh, you're not gonna stay and greet them, huh?
青子では私には勝てないとだけ伝え
But
て
you
え
おいて
won't
くれればいい
actually attempt to fight her tonight.
それはいいんですけど
I mean, yeah, I can tell her that. That's fine. Is that all you wanted to say?
Soujuuro's reply from the sofa stopped the exiting Touko in her tracks. Then, like a student humbly inquiring of a teacher, Soujuuro pointed to the object in Touko's hand and asked,
そのカップ
おう
どうするんです
Excuse me, would you mind leaving the cup? Surprised, she looked down at the teacup in her right hand that she had forgotten she was holding.
She had it the whole time, huh?
She hadn't even realized she'd been holding the cup the entire time.
これうんせっかくだからもらっていく
Hmm.
The act of taking something without the owner's permission is commonly referred to as theft.
Yeah.
However, this was more likely the typical relationship between Aoko and Touko. Share and share alike and so forth.
So, yeah, Aoko's things are her things.
Soujuuro nodded to show that he understood. Unsure if his nod was sincere or not, Touko smiled that gleeful grin for the second time since taking her glasses off.
やはり変わり種だね君は逸材かどうかは別の話だが
For just a moment, she'd returned to the affable Touko Aozaki he met before the glasses came off. Leaving him with the image of her smile, she departed the mansion. Her broken glasses remained sitting on the drawing room table, in payment for the teacup.
I see.
ただいま
Ha ha ha, hey.
No sooner had the eerie visitor left did Aoko and Alice return home.
So they just missed each other, huh?
Despite Aoko's sour mood, she seemed as merry as ever. Despite everything that had happened and their trip having its fair share of problems, she still had fun. Whereas Alice was her usual stoic self. With a form not unlike a parent following behind a rampaging toddler cleaning up their mess. The scene of their return was like something out of a TV sitcom, and lost in thought, Soujuuro forgot to greet them.
宗十郎 留守中何かあった？
No,
You could
nothing.
Say that.
Not a thing.
He has to deliver a message or he might die.
Aoko asked, more so out of etiquette than curiosity while removing her coat. Without answering, he stood up from the sofa.
そりゃ半日分の出来事はあったけど。
So it all started when I was watching this video on alligators for 3 straight hours, even though it was at most 2 hours long.
それより寒かっただろう。お茶を入れようか。
Do you want to maybe get to the more important part?
ああ、お願い。こっちも一から作戦練り上げようってとこだから。
Just don't expect it to be in your teacup.
Soujuuro was on his way to the kitchen to prepare tea even before Aoko had finished her upbeat response.
なんだろう。どこか変だ。
Now hold
What?
on.
What, did he forget?
He was following his same tea brewing routine as always, but somehow something didn't feel the same. As though in a trance, Soujuuro returned to the drawing room where they were settling down and placed the tea on the table.
これからどうするつもりなの？とりあえず足で探すしかないわね。あいつ相手に守りに入るのは良くない。こっちが城壁を作ってる間に一個師団の人形をこさえかねないわ。
They conversed with each other while ignoring Soujuro's presence. Upon hearing what they said, he stood up and spoke abruptly.
探すって、トウコさんを？
それ以外誰を探すって？
Wait. How do you know that name?
ちょっと、あんた今なんて言ったの？
Say that again.
トウコさんなんだろ？青崎たちの敵
You
は。
just missed her.
She's been
さっき
here
ま
all
でここにいた
afternoon.
よ。
He answered so casually, Aoko standing there dumbfounded.
Right, your enemy, the one you've been looking for, who was here with me all day.
Alice stood up from the sofa and went to where the two of them were standing. Her typically kind and somber features turned reproachable.
しずきくん、その人、何かしていった？
She came in, looked around the foyer, demanded a cup of tea. Then we came in here, I made her tea.
You broke her glasses.
She talked to me for a while and I told her everything. Then she asked if she could take her glasses off and they shattered into tiny pieces. And then she grabbed me roughly by the collar and told me she had a thing for me. Before declaring that you couldn't beat her in a fight and stealing your teacup.
Right, yeah. You know, little
お
things.
茶を飲んで、メガネを外して帰っていっただけだけど。あれ、よく思い出せない
But she told you to give a message. Wouldn't she let you remember that part?
What was once a clear memory seemed to have been scrubbed clean from his mind. Soujuuro was overcome by the same dizziness he felt before.
Whoa.
A sharp, dry smack echoed through the room. What snapped him out of his haze was an unexpected slap from Alice.
二度は言わないわ。他人を
Yeah.
私の家に立ち入らせないで。
You left him home alone and he let somebody in.
Deep within her eyes, beyond the normal cool indifference, was an intense fury. Realizing, however, that it was no ordinary anger, Soujuuro understood how careless he'd been.
すまない。アリスにとってここが大事な場所なのは分かってたのに。
Heavy silence followed. Both Soujuuro and Alice stood there, chained to the spot by their own regret. Aoko looked on in amazement, wondering if they would stay this way all night if left alone.
あのね、姉貴を通した宗十郎も悪いけど、言ってなかったアリスも悪いでしょ。
To be fair, I
子供
thought
じ
it
ゃ
was
な
a
いんだから、
newspaper
い
delivery
つまでも
person.
反省してないで、もっと前向きに話をしない？
Alice hung her head and sat back down at Aoko's insistence. Soujuuro stood where he was, nursing his stinging right cheek. Pain was pain, but he knew how to take a knock.
Yeah.
More to the point, the crisp strike from Alice snapped him out of his fog, jogging his memory.
思い出した。青子じゃ私には勝てないって伝えておいてほしいって。
Also that she's taking your stuff, I guess?
大した自信ね。他には？
Yes, she stole your teacup.
他は基本的に世間話だったというか。あ、
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't remember like half the stuff she said because I don't know Magecraft's things.
She said something about time travel.
Yeah, I think she's trying to go back to the past or something.
Considering the small talk was mostly about Aoko and her flaws, Soujuuro decided it would be better to take that part to his grave.
Yeah.
あの人、インドにでも行ってたのかしら。
Oh, what is that? A Buddhist idea or something?
あんた、姉貴に何かされたわね。
Well, yeah.
Aoko turned to him, glaring at him sharply. He had nothing to be ashamed of, but he looked away guiltily anyway.
何かって何さ。
思い出せないとか言ってたでしょ。さっきまでの態度もふわふわしてたし。そうか。メガネを外したまでは覚えてたってことは、魔眼にでも見られたか。
As quickly as she jumped to that conclusion, Aoko went quiet again, as if the information was of little importance. But it wasn't enough to detract Soujuuro from bringing it up again.
青崎、魔眼ってなんだ？
They're like regular eyes, but mystical. Anyway, can we focus for a second?
魔力を帯びた目のことよ。簡単なものは一時的な混乱を、上級なものは睨んだだけで相手を殺す。ま、バロールみたいな魔眼の持ち主なんて伝説だけだろうし、そもそもそんな魔眼持ちが生まれてくるなら、私たちの悩みもあっさり終わるってものだけど。
If only you had some like mystic eyes of petrification or mystic eyes of depth perception or something.
Those would be good.
Without further context, Aoko knew her explanation was completely lost on Soujuuro.
そうね。わかりやすく言うと、私の魔眼みたいなのを目から照射するようなもんよ。
You know, eye beams. Like Superman. Did Japan know about Superman in the 80s?
Or like
vision?
Like that time that Piccolo turned Gohan's clothes different using his clothing-based eye beams.
Actually, that was his hand, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think that was out of his hand.
I just know it was like his most metro attack.
Yeah.
目から青崎か。
I can't. No, other people can. Keep up. Soujuro's confusion deepened along with Aoko's frustration.
だから、あなた一度目を閉じた後のトーコの目を見たんでしょ。その一瞬で姉貴の魔眼に捕まったってこと。目を猫名詞に入れ替える魔術師もいるけど、姉貴はそんなことする必要はないから。あの人、生まれながらの魔眼持ちだしね。
Yeah, she was born with it.
さしたる準備も栄唱もなしで、シャッターするだけで切り替え自由なの。
Soujuuro pounded his fist in understanding. Hey,
yeah, that hand in the fist in your palm.
What are the rank of her mystic eyes precisely?
I don't know if we're gonna get into that or not.
Like, are these rainbow rank? Should we be like really concerned or like only?
It sounds lower level, like
only
a slight
kind
charm.
of concerned. Now he thought about it, he vaguely remembered her doing something exactly like that. Everything after was foggy and muddled, and her mystic eyes seemed the only logical cause.
その話は分かったけど、東子さんは青崎のお姉さんなんだろう。なんで姉妹で殺し合いをしてるんだ？
He knew it wasn't something he should ask, but he did it anyway. The question was against the rules. He had no business being involved in this dispute.
I mean, you're kind of involved now. She's got her eyes set on you too.
Aoko closed her eyes to collect her thoughts. She decided it was best for all involved to at least share some background information, if only to head off further questions.
いいわ、話してあげる。姉貴に関わった以上、事情を説明しておかないと危ないし。
Yeah, at this point, you just need to make sure he knows the danger he's in.
けど、
so he doesn't do
なんで
anything
あれ
dumb.
聞き返すの話ね。この件に関しては、私は私の事情を話すだけだから。
She stared down Soujuuro until he nodded, slowly, in recognition. Knowing him, she knew this was confirmation enough. The conversation was becoming oddly friendly again, but Aoko sat up a little straighter as she prepared to tell the tale.
姉貴の話をするってことは、私と青崎の家の話と 何より魔術と魔法の話をしない。
Ah, yes.
We're gonna mention that.
Time
now.
to explain the difference between Magecraft and true magic.
Oh boy.
少し遠回りになるし、多言無用な内容だけど、いずれあんたの記憶は消えるから問題ないってことで。
Yeah, we can always wipe your memory after it's over.
Aoko made sure to add that disclaimer as a condition for him telling him the information in the first place.
魔術っていうのはね、宗十郎。いわば共通のルールなのよ。
First rule, no bringing back the dead. Second rule, no wishing for more wishes. Third rule, no wishing for true love.
Yeah.
No wishing to force someone to fall in love with you, more accurate.
Ah, yeah.
ルーンやカバラといった魔術系統はそれぞれの科目、世界共通のマニュアルだと思えばいい。教科書さえきちんと持っているのなら、あとは血脈次第で誰でも魔術師にはなれるわ。
Okay.
The problem with runes is that sometimes they just don't do what you think they're going to do.
Well.
けど、魔法を使うのは別。魔法は魔術みたいに根源の渦から派生した写本じゃなくて、根源の渦に直接つながるものだから。
Right.
I'm sorry, you're saying words, but
Yeah, I know. He
この
isn't
根
gonna
源の
understand
渦っ
this
ていう
yet.
のは、宗十郎の分かるレベルに落とし込むと、まあ太陽みたいなものと考えて。遠くにあって何より初めにあるもので、それなくしては私たちは生活できないと言った。
Right. Alice.
魔術っていうのはこの太陽からの恩恵を利用しただけのものよ。自然現象の模倣ないし代償が魔術の本質だから。神秘を学び実践し再現するけど、神秘そのものを作ることはできない。いえ、研究の末にたどり着くんでしょうけど、そこには大きな壁がある。人知で、魔法っていうのは太陽そのものを扱うこと。
Right, okay.
誰にも到達できない場所に行って何者にも真似できない奇跡を起こす。お金をかけようが時間をかけようが今の人類には到達できない技術、それが魔法。次元の壁を越えるっていうか、最後まで走ってみたら全く違うルールでできた世界があって、そのルールを学んじゃったってとこかしら。前に魔術に限界はないって言ったでしょ。あれは人知の及ぶ範囲なら限界はないって意味ね。対して魔法は限界だらけっていうか、一つのことしかできないけど、それも当然なの。だってこの宇宙の仕組みから仲間外れの一つっきりの交点なんだから。
魔術より魔法の方がすごい
Kind
という
of,
の
yeah.
は流れ的にわかるんだけど。
yeah, but magic, true magic's like only it's very situational. Like it can only do.
It only
like,
does one
it only
thing,
does
yeah.
one thing.
Right.
Whereas Magecraft can do pretty much anything as long as it's actually possible.
Right.
True magic can do exactly one thing even if it's not possible.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not possible.
限界だらけなんだよな。
I mean, not that limited, but
限界っていうか、特例、特権、越権の類ね。汎用性はないけど、誰にもできないことを可能とする時点で魔術世界にとっては万能とされる。
Like, I know of a guy that can just steal shit from other dimensions.
yeah.
そもそも魔法は根源の渦にたどり着いた魔術師へのご褒美みたいなもので、たとえその術者に魔法を使うだけの肉体性能がなくても、根源へのパスができただけで魔術的にはやりたい放題ってわけ。要は地球で一番のお金持ちになるってこと。
Soujuuro made an appreciative sound, impressed.
Alice really doesn't seem to like that.
On the other hand, Alice looked as though she wished to make many revisions to Aoko's account.
一番の大金持ちか。じゃあどんなにお金持ちでも一番目でない以上は魔法はもらえないんだな。
まあそういうこと。
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
時々とんでもない角度で確信をつくわね、こいつ。あんたの言う通り、同じルート、同じ方法で根源にたどり着いても、1番目じゃないと魔法にはたどり着けない。
Yeah.
どんなに優れていても、2番目以降には意味がないのよ。
Right, so you only get magic for being the first to find a path to the root. But that opens up like some Magecraft for anyone that tries to follow your technique, I guess.
The early bird gets the worm, or in this case, the
4人
Pokemon.
か。
Well, yeah, 5 magics, 4 known magicians.
現存する魔法使いが4人しかいないのは、一度使われたルートは閉ざされてしまうから。大昔はそうでもなかったって話だけどね。
Well,
根源への道、真理への到達に壁を作ったのは皮肉なことに人間自身だった。未知を解明すればするほどルートが閉じていくなんて昔の魔術師たちは思いもしなかったんでしょう。でも結果はこの通り。気がついた時には後の祭りっていうか、多くの研鑽の末、この世から魔法は
so
消え
there's
て
no
いっちゃっ
more
たわけ。
mystery, basically.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, right? If only the first person to reach, the route through that particular path is allowed to wield that magic, then the more people reach the route and acquire true magics, the less true magics there are, because eventually that person's gonna
Yes.
die, and then that true magic disappears.
Kind of, but not exactly. I believe it's mentioned that a family can pass down true magic through their crest once it has been attained.
Well, where the hell's Alice's true magic then?
I believe she should have access to it. I mean, she herself might not know. I think her family, like her father's still alive and stuff. But her family should have knowledge of it. And for things like flight that used to be considered true magic, as mystery gets erased, then it becomes Magecraft. So it's not lost, it's just not a miracle anymore. So more people having it actually kind of makes it
山と
weaker.
町の関係に似てると思っていいのかな。
ミクロな視点で言うなら似たようなものよ。で、つい最近まで現代の魔術師たちは残された最後の席を求めていたけど、それもちょっと前にどこぞの田舎者が横取りしちゃって、椅子取りゲームはあえなく終了。あとは魔法抜きで根源にたどり着くため、地味で無意味な魔術の研究を続けることになった。もともと魔法なんてのを優先してたのは一部の魔術師だけで、他の真っ当な連中はとっくに見切りをつけてたんだけどね。
Yeah, I'd say at the clock tower, a lot of them are just exploring the bound, like what's within Magecraft, because that's still a
だって
fuck ton of power.
魔術師にとって最終目的は根源の渦への到達であって魔法じゃないし。そのあたりいつの間にかごっちゃになっちゃったんでしょ。卵が先か鶏が先かって話。
よし、全くわからないってことは分かったんで、そろそろ本題に入ってくれ。
The one thing I know is that I know absolutely nothing.
So anyway, can we get to the point?
Ouch.
あ、けど1番目の人間しか魔法使いになれないのに、魔法使いは何人もいるのか
5人いたわ。最終的に人間に残される最後の課題は5つだろうって一番初めの青子。
Yeah.
じゃあ本題ね。
Right, the point. Actually, no, I'm kind of interested, Alice. Don't shut her up.
We might get some
魔
info
法と魔
later.
術の関係が分かったところで、ようやくうちの話になるんだけど、
Right.
青崎の家が代々魔術師だったのは前に言ったでしょ。
Sure.
歴史的には浅いけど、運と才能には恵まれていたのね。青崎はなんだかんだって魔法にまでたどり着いたんだから。
That's
Huzzah.
already happened then. Okay.
ちょっと待った。じゃあ青崎がその
Holy shit, you're rich? Wait a
私
minute.
はあくまで魔術師見習い。使えないし、使う気もないわよ、魔法なんて。私はただ、青崎の家を継いだだけだもの。
I already know about that. The potential should be in your crest.
Aoko assessed obtusely, her voice devoid of emotion. She became a mage, not to wield magic. but simply because the succession of her family's magecraft was forced on her.
とにかく根源の渦にたどり着くには何代も何代も魔術を研究しなくちゃいけない。自分独自の皮を作るようなものなんだから、もちろんその過程は果てがない。
Right. You
よ
can't
ほど
really
の天賦か
collaborate
典
or
型
someone
でも
else
な
can
い
beat
限
you to
り
the punch.
魔法を作るなんてできないしね。そしてもし根源にたどり着いてもふさわしい後継者がいなければ一代限りの奇跡で終わってしまう。だから魔術師は血脈を重ねて代々の魔力を時代に積み重ねていく。自分より優れた後継者を生むために。
Unfortunately, as mana is kind of dying out of the world, we just keep getting weaker.
Yeah.
As a general rule.
Yeah, the amount of true ether on Earth does seem to be depleting.
Aoko wrapped up the explanation by remarking that it was like producing a thoroughbred. But when there's just less dog DNA to go around, or horse
Right.
DNA or whatever.
Yeah.
Now that Soujuuro knew what a thoroughbred,
not that
he
he
knew
knew
what
what
it
it
was, a
was.
thoroughbred was supposed to
So-
begin with, leaving him as perplexed at the end of the story as he was at the beginning.
そうやって代を重ねて魔術師は作り上げた独自の神秘、守り続けた魔術を次の世代に伝えていくの。きっと最後の最後に全ての疑問を打ち消すに足る答えがあるはずだって。でも魔術師、いえ魔法使いだってみんな悟ってるのよ。自分の代でもその次の代でもきっと最後の最後の最後まで誰もゴールにはたどり着けないって結末を。それを分かっていながら魔術を研究していくのが神秘学に取りつかれたものの宿命だって祖父はよく口にしてた。けど私の姉はそうじゃなかったみたい。
She left I can see why hanging in the air. Alice had no response. The Aozaki family passing down true magic. Aoko, the reluctant successor. And Touko Aozaki, her elder sister.
本当は青崎の後継者は姉貴だった。私もうちの家業が何であるかは教えられてきたけど実践することはなかったのよ。魔術師の家系はよっぽど裕福でもない限り基本的に一子相伝だからね。うちほんと財力的には一般家庭レベルだし。で後継者にはより魔術に適したものが選ばれるわけだけど姉貴は確かに天才だった。けどそれは青崎の後継者にはいらない才能だった。
Talented in the wrong areas, maybe?
その代わり私は心底青崎の後継者としてふさわしかったみたい。まあそれはそれでどうも思わないけど祖父がはっきりと私にくら替えしたのが15歳の冬の頃でさ。姉貴はいきなり4つ年下で今まで魔術に関わってなかった妹に魔法の相続権利を奪われたってわけよ。
そうか、それで。
I thought it was kind of stated that Aoko only got it because Touko ran away first.
Yeah, I thought they'd already established that earlier in this, even.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Huh.
That said, she said that she was obligated to take what was Aoko's. Touko's words from not moments ago, her voice full of resentment as she spoke them.
あの人がどんな思いをしたか私は本人じゃないから知らないけど、祖父と言い争って今まで愛用してたメガネを叩き壊して家を出て行ったのが3年と半年前。それから全く消息なしで私は姉の代わりになったの。これが私と姉貴の争う原因でしょうね。
Soujuuro thought the story was tragic, but Aoko's voice had a tone of relief in it.
Guess she's just glad to get it out of her chest, basically.
Soujuuro didn't know exactly who he should feel bad for anymore himself.
Yeah.
壊したか。
Did she use her mystic eyes on your
あ
grandpa?
の人昔はすっごく目が良かった。生まれながら魔眼を持ってたって
She
化け
hasn't
物だか
even
らね。
then.
けど祖父の期待に応えようとして無理して頑張った挙句視力が下がっちゃったみたい。
Aoko wrestled with the memory, not sure if she had everything down exactly right. Soujuuro knew how well Aoko could hide her emotions, and this was not one of those moments.
けど、あれに何の意味があったんだろう。メガネをジジイに叩きつけるぐらいなら、フィンの一撃でも叩き込めばよかったのに。あの人、あの頃が才能のピークだったんだし、猛録したジジイなんて、それこそ一撃だったと思うんだけど。
Would have stopped you from being the heir.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if she just
But-
killed her grandfather there,
Well-
presumably they hadn't already given Aoko the crest at that point, and then she could have just taken the crest from the old man herself.
Maybe, unless there was some reason she couldn't kill him.
Soujuuro shook his head, disappointed at Aoko's misjudgment of the situation.
恨みつらみの話じゃない。そのメガネは大事なものだったんだ。だってそれは誰にだってわかる努力の証なんだから。それを叩きつけたんだ。痛かったんだろうな、トウコさんは。思い出を自分で壊さなくちゃいけないくらいに。
As Soujuuro spoke, neither Aoko nor Alice noticed the grief he was fighting to hold in. Or, more accurately, they couldn't understand his point of view. After all, in a world where mages are raised to fight other mages, empathy was in short supply.
けど、どうして今頃になって戻ってきたのかしら。青子の言う通り、トウコさんならもっと早く岬市を奪えたのに。
Sounds like she's not after the land itself.
そうね。そんなに土地が欲しかったのなら、3年前に私を殺せば後継者に戻れたのに。
Right?
世間の荒波に揉まれて気が変わったとか？
違う。青崎は本当にわからないのか。
Soujuuro shook with a faint anger. His voice changed from the boy they thought they knew.
何よ。
I
あん
mean,
たに
I
も分かるってい
just
う。
talked to her a whole bunch.
誰だってわかる。トウコさんは青崎が一人前になるまで待っていたんだ。自分が失ったものと同じくらい大切なものをなくさせるために。
Soujuuro gazed at them, wondering why they couldn't see what he could. Only he was the one that didn't understand. The two girls, above all Touko,
And above all
Touko Aozaki, deny themselves the type of relationships that other normal people are allowed to experience. Touko's actions weren't fueled by hatred. While there was certainly hatred behind them, the real reason was, and always had been, Touko's pursuit of true magic. She was an ambitious and talented mage. Her hatred was only her veneer. Thinking of her in any other way would be an insult to the elder sister who devoted her life to the study of Magecraft. All of this Aoko wanted to tell Soujuuro, but instead stopped herself. Even if she had, Soujuuro wasn't a mage and could never understand. And besides, arguing with him any further wouldn't have brought her any joy. She couldn't have put it into words even if she tried. And so...
やけに姉貴の肩を持つじゃない、宗十郎。
He sure is.
A little bit.
Oh, but...
Yeah, we are,
at time.
and this could go on for a long time still, so...
Sure could. I mean, we're in the middle of a main chapter. So.
I mean, yeah, this is potentially a lot more to go still. So, probable main antagonist has finally been met.
Probable.
Getting some good backstory on Aoko and how this whole situation got started. Still really fucking curious about Soujuro's neck, my god.
Yeah,
They're really holding out on that one.
they sure are.
Yeah, got to see a bit more of Alice's ploys. She's got another fancy one with some mist.
Touko has finally made a proper appearance, name and all, which is nice.
Yeah, we got a little more on her motive and what kind of abilities she's got.
And that she has a thing for younger men, clearly.
Or just men that Aoko's interested in. Is that just her thing?
Yeah, possibly.
She's just really into NTR, you know?
Specifically with
For
her sister.
yeah.
Yeah. Not in general, just specifically for Aoko.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so definitely some hatred and resentment going on there. Still want to know more about Alice's family, but at least we got some decent explanations of magic and all that.
Yeah.
Overall, some good stuff, but hopefully, well, okay, I know this is going to still be a lot of slice of life, but hopefully the whole Magecraft battle will be taking center stage a little more, because it feels like the plot has kind of taken a back seat for a bit.
Or it's more slice of life.
I mean, there will be there, yeah, but they've really shut Soujuuro out of the Magecraft stuff, and that really kind of slowed things down, since anything focusing on him couldn't really involve the main conflict.
Yeah.
But now he's involved, so hopefully it picks up a little more. But all that is going to be until next time. So until then, we'll catch you later.